Hey guys, today's Wednesday the 23rd. This is our lesson for today. You'll need your journal, blue pencil, your red and yellow pencil color because we're going to talk about integers today, and your 5-2 notes. Okay, so our week reviewed. So today's 5-2, which is adding integers with different signs. We're going to be going over our 5-2 notes. You'll be doing an ed puzzle. You'll be watching about less than a 5-minute video and answering questions on that. Our adding integers with 2 color counters is a sheet that we will be working on that you will need to add, complete, and make sure you put that in your notes. And then your homework is 5.2. So let's get started. So it is our 20th day. So it would be 20 out of 100, which reduces to 1/5, which is 20 hundredths, which is also 20%. Okay. On our back page, or on our table of contents, we are at 5-2, and this is adding integers with different signs. Okay. You're going to go to your next part and in our journal and go ahead and glue your notes in. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those in. This is from the other day. And now we have this. So I'm going to glue my notes right there. And I'm also going to be gluing in the adding integers with 2 color counters worksheet. If you want to go ahead and print that off and glue that into your journal, that's fine. Also, you can also print it. I mean, you don't have to print it, but when you do it on Cami, you can save it into your Google Drive. So it looks like this has this crossed out and it says number line. So I'm going to fold this right like here so I see the title, and then I'm going to glue that in. You don't have to glue this into your journal. However, I do recommend that you save this into your Google Drive somewhere when you complete it with Cami and while you're following along so that you can refer back to it. Okay, so today's 9/23/2020. We're going to be talking about adding on a number line and adding with counters, integers with different signs. So to find the sum of integers with the same sign, such as 3 + 2, you can start at 3 and move the absolute value of 2 units to the positive direction. So when I add a positive, you move to the right. To find the sum of integers with different signs, such as 3 plus a -2, there are different signs, a positive and a negative. You start at 3 and move 2 units to the negative direction, and to add to the negative direction, you move left. Okay, so here we're adding 2, so we moved right. Here we are adding a -2, so we moved 2 to the left. Okay, we're going to do some more practicing on that. Modeling sums of integers with different signs. You can use colored counters to model adding integers with different signs. And you started doing that yesterday when we were working on the IXL. When you add a positive integer or a yellow counter and a negative counter, the result is 0. One red and one yellow counter form a 0 pair. So this is very important. One yellow and one red counter, when they match up, they cancel each other out, giving you a 0 pair. So I'm going to just draw that out. So if I have one red counter and one yellow counter, they match up, and this gives me a 0 pair, and it cancels each other out because a positive and a negative, an integer in its opposites total is 0. So when we're dealing with counters, always remember that red is negative. So let's color that in. Let's just box that in so we can visually see. Red will always be negative. Now, yellow is positive. Now, some counters, especially when you're dealing with algebra tiles, and if you use algebra tiles as counters, they don't have a yellow side. Some of them don't, but they always will have a red side. Okay. So you have learned how to add integers with the same signs and how to add integers with different signs. The table below summarizes the rules for adding integers. So when you have the same signs, you add the absolute value of the integers and use a common sign for the sum. All right, so this one's easy. You add and you keep. You add and you keep the sign. So here we had 3 plus 5. They were both positive. So 3 plus 5 gives me a positive 8. Here we had a negative 2 plus a negative 7. They're both negatives. 2 plus 7 gives me 9. Negative and a negative is going to give me a negative 9. Now, when we have different signs, you're going to subtract. Key operation is subtract the lesser absolute value from the greater absolute value. Use the sign of the integer with a greater absolute value for the sum. So when you subtract and you keep the larger, you keep the greater sign. Okay? So here we have 3 plus a negative 5. So 5 minus 3 gives me 2. Well, negative 5 is bigger, so it's going to give me a negative 2 as an answer. Here we have negative 10 plus 1. Well, 10 minus 1 gives me 9. I have more negative than I do positive, so my answer would be negative 9. All right. A number and its opposite. This is like our 0 pair. A number and its opposite. The sum is 0. This is what we call, this is very important, additive inverse. This is what we call it. It has a specific name. So like 4 plus a negative 4 gives me 0. Negative 11 plus 11 gives me 0. This is what we call an additive inverse. Okay, let's flip the page over. And you can go into your adding your counters. So we're going to do it with counters, and then we're going to show our example on a number line. So here I have 4 negative plus 3 negative. So I'm going to start off with 4 negative counters. So I have 4 red counters plus, then I'm adding 3 more red counters. And I have a total of 7, and they're all red, so it would be a negative 7. Okay? Now, if we did this on a number line, I'm going to draw my number line here. Remember, on your number line, you need the first number there, so I need a negative 4. I have a negative 4 right there. I'm going to put some marks to the left and to the right. So I'm going to start at negative 4, and I'm adding a negative 3. So I'm going 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to land right there. So negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. Be my answer right there. All right, let's look in here. Our next one. So we have 2. That's 2 positives. There is no sign in front of there, therefore I know it's positive. 2 plus, and then we're going to add 7. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so they're the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have a total of 9 yellow counters. When I'm putting this on my number line, I have a number line. Remember, 2 needs to go on there, so I'm going to put 2. going to put some numbers to the side. Okay, I'm starting at 2, and I'm going 7 to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I end up right there. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 would be my answer. Okay, let's look at number 3. 3 positive, so I need 3 yellows. Plus 5 negative. So I'm going to take 5, and I need 5 red counters. And do you see how I'm stacking them on top of each other? I'm not putting them side by side. I like to stack my counters if they're different. Then I go, ooh, this is a 0 pair, this is a 0 pair, and this is a 0 pair. So they cancel out, leaving me with 2 negatives. Okay, they cancel each other out. I'm left with 2 negatives. So if I think of this on a number line, same rules apply. I'm starting at 3. All right, I'm starting at 3, and I'm going 5. It's a negative 5, so I'm going to go in the left direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2. Ends me up at negative 2. Okay, number 4, I'm going to let y'all do because that one's just the same as the number 1 with it. They have the same signs. So looking at number 5, I have 4 negatives. So I have 4 reds counters. I'm going to color them red. If I'm not mistaken, on Cami, you can you can adjust the colors to red and yellow to draw. And then 4 yellow counters. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I stacked them on top, going, oh, look, this is a 0 pair. That cancels out, that cancels out, that cancels out, leaving me with 0. Leaving me with 0. There's nothing remaining after you cancel those out. All right, we're going to draw a number line. We're going to start at negative 4. I'm going to draw some to the right because we start off at negative 4. I'm adding 4, so I'm going 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to end up right there. Negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1. I'm going to end up right there at 0. Okay, number 6. We have a negative 5, so I need 5 red counters. 2, 3, 4, 5. And plus 1, well, that's a positive 1. So I'm going to put 1 yellow counter right here. Okay, I match them up. They cancel out. Those go away, leaving me with 4 negative counters. So my answer would be a negative 4. I draw my number line. Remember, the first number always needs to go on there somewhere. So I have negative 5 right here. Draw some lines right there representing numbers. So my dot goes at negative 5. I'm adding 1, so I'm going to go 1 to the right. I'm going to go 1 over, which gives me negative 4. Okay, I'm going to do the number 9 as my last example. So I have negative 7. So I have 7 red counters. 7 red counters plus 2, so I need 2 yellow counters. Okay, I'm matching these up to form a 0 pair. So then these 2 pairs will go away, leaving me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives. 5 red counters, which would be a negative 5. And the last drawing we're going to draw here is our number line. I'm starting off at -7. I'm going to put some lines here. So my dot starts at -7 and I'm adding 2. So I go 1, 2 to the right. So that would be -7, -6, and this is -5. So for you, I need you to fill in number 4, 7, 8, and 10 for those worksheets. I mean, on this worksheet, then adding integer color counters. Okay? So that is going to be all for our notes today. Remember, when you're adding positive integers, when you're adding positives, you're going to move to the right, and when you're adding negatives, you're going to move to the left. I'm going to stop sharing this screen and go back. Okay, so we've done our notes, and we did our adding integers with 2 color counters. So if you go to your classwork, it will be up here in a bit, so give me one moment. Your Ed puzzle will be right there. You're going to click on this link, and you're going to watch the video. Now remember, it's roughly a little over 4 minutes, less than 5, and you have the multiple choice. So when you watch it, it's going to pause and you need to answer the multiple choice questions. This will be taken for a grade. Emphasizing, this will be taken for a grade. So you need to make sure that you listen to the whole thing, and then it will stop and you need to answer the answer choices to the right. They'll be right here. Okay, your other thing that you have, so that's your Ed puzzle, adding integers with 2 color counters, that's where that one will be. Okay, so that's what will be pulled up. And then you're adding integers with different signs. This is your other homework. So you're going to pull this up, and here you're drawing on the number line. You're finding the sum, and then 15 through 18 are some word problems. We will be going over and checking the homework on Thursday, beginning of class. All right. Hope that answers anything, any questions that you have. The video on the Ed puzzle will be really helpful in reiterating, adding those positives and negatives integers together, and talking about that additive inverse. And that will be all. So have a good day, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye.